Happy Monday, and welcome to another episode of Cases that should have gone to the Supreme Court of Canada, but didn't. Today we're talking about wrongful dismissal. Cases that should have gone to the Supreme Court of Canada, but didn't. Amanda Hussey was found to have been wrongfully dismissed from a federally regulated employer. She applied for reinstatement, but on judicial review of the decision declining to reinstate her, she was awarded compensation in lieu of reinstatement. Essentially, she was paid for the severance that she should have gotten, as well as additional compensation to compensate her for losing her job. She was not permitted to get her job back, which can be ordered in certain circumstances of wrongful dismissal. Ms. Hussey's application raised important issues about whether or not compensation in lieu of reinstatement was sufficient to compensate somebody for the injury they suffer as a result of wrongful dismissal, but also raises the question of how that compensation is calculated. How do you calculate somebody being terminated from their job and compensate them for that as an alternative to reinstating them in their employment? Not only is a person entitled to severance, but what is the quantifiable damages, and how does a court determine the quantifiable damages that come from simply not being reinstated? And if a person is reinstated, then they have the opportunity to seek employment elsewhere while continuing to work and not having a gap in their resume, which then would require explanation. And arguably making an explanation about the fact that you were wrongfully dismissed may signal to a future employer that you could potentially be a problem whether or not your dismissal was lawful. The Supreme Court of Canada had a real opportunity to develop a good method to guide judges in this way, and also give potential employees and people bringing wrongful termination claims better understanding of what they're likely to get at the end. Unfortunately, it's going to take another case involving a wrongful dismissal making its way to the Supreme Court of Canada, which is incredibly rare, for the Supreme Court to actually have the opportunity to consider how compensation in lieu of reinstatement should be calculated. Cases that should have gone to the Supreme Court of Canada, but didn't. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Cases that should have gone to the Supreme Court of Canada, but didn't. I'm Kyla Lee at Acumen Law Corporation. Thank you to Brazen Bull Creative for putting together these videos. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends.